Hello. Today I will be presenting on Chapter 6's topic of listening. Research shows that we spend about 54% of our time awake listening. The ability to listen effectively, as described in Chapter 6, affects our success in many different situations. Today, I will describe listening, explain how active listening has helped me in my personal life, and explore how the concept of active listening can be applied in an academic context. While many people assume that they are partaking in listening, they may instead only be hearing, which is the physical sensory process of receiving and perceiving sounds. Listening is defined as the active process of making meaning out of another person's spoken message. Active listening occurs in 6 stages that are also referred to as the Hurrier model. The Hurrier model has this name because it is a mnemonic device that is used to help you remember the 6 stages of active listening. These stages are hearing, understanding, remembering, interpreting, evaluating, and responding. I would like to give an example of how I use the Hurrier model in my personal life. Recently, I was having an argument with my boyfriend. The main conflict between us was the fact that he felt that I wasn't listening to him and his concerns when he would bring up concerns in our relationship. Personally, I believe that I was doing my part in listening to his concerns. When he would bring something up in the argument, I would take the time to hear him out, and then I would address it and move on. However, I realized during this specific conversation that while I had been hearing his concerns, I wasn't making any further efforts to understand his feelings or actually remember what was being said. Because of this, I could not respond to him in a way that was showing that I was actually listening to what he was saying. This communication breakdown was occurring because I was only passively listening to him, not engaging in active listening. Hearing is only one step in the listening process, and by itself leads to ineffective communication. Once I began to actively listen to him using all 6 steps of the Hurrier model, I was able to effectively communicate back to him. For me, this looked like asking him questions about what he meant, taking the time to actually interpret and find out what he actually meant by what he was saying, and respond in a way that was showing that I was actually paying attention to his words and was willing to make change. If I apply the steps of listening to an academic context, I can think of times where I've sat through a lecture for an hour and left class feeling confused and unable to remember the lecture material. When I would go home to go review the material afterwards or be faced with a test or a quiz, I would be very confused and not remember actually taking the time to learn the material. However, after this situation that happened in my personal life and learning how to apply the Hurrier model and active listening to my life, I was able to apply it to my academic life. I realized that when I am in class, asking questions for understanding, taking notes for remembering, and responding to my professor's questions that he asked to the class, I'm more likely to actually comprehend the course material. This is because I'm engaging in the active listening process. To conclude, listening effectively is an active process that decodes and interprets messages around us. By applying the concept of listening to my personal and academic life, I better understand how to effectively listen and give meaning to my conversations and social interactions. Listening is also a part of the communication process, and by being more aware of how to apply the concept of active listening to the many contexts of your life, you are also able to become a better overall communicator. Thank you.